Welcome to Real World Laravel, a new series where I bring you along with me to build a new feature in one of my production SaaS apps. Today we're going to be looking at Buckets. Buckets is an app that helps you build healthy spending habits so you can be confident that your money is only going to things that are actually worth it to you. Go to buckets.money or click the link in the description to sign up and get started for free today. No credit card required. So let's get started. What are we building today? In Buckets, there is a free tier. So any user can sign up for free and you get 2 buckets and up to 30 transactions for free. So anytime a user is trying to create a bucket or a transaction, I check against those limits, and if they have already hit the free tier limits, then I prevent them from creating a new one, and on the front end, I'll actually pop up this dialog. Let me make the screen a little bigger. So when you go to click Create Bucket, right now I'm logged in as a test user that has hit the free limits. So when you click Create Bucket, you see this dialog. It's basically an upgrade dialog. And what I want to know is when a user hits this. So when they kind of hit the paywall or they see this dialog. So I want to know that there's some user out there that used Buckets enough to hit the paywall, but then if they saw the paywall and decided, they don't want to pay for it. So that's just something I want to keep track of. So it's basically basic analytics, but I just want to build something small. I don't want to pay for a full analytics solution. I don't think I need that at this point. So I really just want to keep track of these events in my database. So that's what we're going to build today. I haven't built this into Buckets yet, so you're going to be figuring it out with me live on the fly. So let's do it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is create a new migration. Let's call it create events table. And that sounds good. Create events table. Okay. Oh, wow. I did not know Laravel would automatically put that in there for you based on your naming. That is amazing. Okay. So ID and timestamps. That's great. Let's also do, I want a foreign key for the user. So let's bring that in. I'm going to want a type. So let's just make it a string for now. It's like what was the event? So in this one, I'll call it, I don't know, paywall or something like that. That'll be the type for this metric. Is there anything else I want? I've got the timestamps. That might be it, actually. I'm going to log every single one, so I don't need any kind of count. If I want analytics on that, I'll just do some queries to gather those analytics on the fly. So I think we're good with this. Let's just start using it and see how it goes. So we have our database table. Let's go ahead and run migrate. I'm not going to do the fresh migration right now. Okay, so we've got our table. There we go. Now what we need to do is think about, okay, when we're in the front end, so I'm using Svelte, so let's look at upgrade dialog. So I can't use onMount because of how these dialogs work. They're actually in the DOM and they just are shown when they open. So I can't use onMount, but what I can do is basically watch, watch this open variable, and anytime it changes to true, I will fire an event to my backend saying this user saw this dialog. That's basically all we have to do. So on the front end, we're going to say anytime so I'm going to say if open, then log paywall event. We'll create that function. Okay. Function log paywall event. All right. I'm going to actually create a form up here. So let's just say let form. I'll say paywall form equal use form. It does not need any fields. Let's go import that. Import use form, if I can type, from inertia. Okay. So log paywall event is going to say paywall form dot post. Let's do /events/paywall. That's what we will do. And that's actually all I'm going to do. I don't want to do anything on error or on success, really. I really just want this to fire in the background, and if it gets to my backend, great. Most of the time it will, and then I can log the event. So I kind of want this to be like a fire and forget. So let's add a couple things here, like preserve scroll. I don't need on success. I'm going to put on error. I think I don't need this either, but I'm going to do this. Just give it an empty on error just in case. Okay, so that should be logging. Before I actually do that, let's just do a console.log paywall event. Comment these lines out. That's not comment. That is comment. Okay, let's go back to buckets. Let's refresh, open up our console, clear, and when we see the dialog, paywall event, when it closes, we don't see anything. If I open it this way, paywall event, okay, great. So that is working. So we've got it in our front end. So now we need to go to our back end and actually handle this. So what I'm going to do is create a new controller, events controller. Great, we will open that up. And I'm going to have a method called I don't know, create. We'll just go with that. Create, which will, let's see, I said event paywall. So you know what, let's just call it create paywall event. That is fine. So now it's specific to just creating a paywall event. So let's say events. I don't have an event model yet. I need to add that. Let's do that. A make model event. Okay, now I can do event from models, create, and this will be type. We'll just call it paywall. The user, normally I would not do this way. I would like set up a relationship on the user model and call it that way, but we're just going to do it this way for now. User ID is auth user ID. Okay, and that should be all we need in the user model here. Let's see. Or in the controller, in the user model, in the events controller. So now let's go to our routes. I will create a new section here for events. I'll put it above the subscriptions. Events, route controller, events controller, create a group. We'll say route post /events/paywall will be create paywall event. Okay. I think that will do it. Add my semicolons. Let's make sure I named that correctly. Create paywall event. Is that what I called it? Events controller, create paywall event. Okay. That should do it. So just as a sanity check, let's just do a DD in the controller. And now, in theory, when we go here, nothing happened. What happened? Paywall form.post is not a function. I messed up something on the front end. Let's go check that real quick. Upgrade dialog. That's true. That needs to have a $sign because it is a Svelte store. Okay. Oh, I saw the hey. All right, sneak peek. We ruined it, but that's okay. All right, create the bucket. And hey, so we're seeing our DD. So we're all connected front end to back end. Now, Let's go back to our controller and remove that DD. And let's see if we get a new event. So I'm going to add type to fillable property. That is correct. We need to do that. So let's go to our event model. That's a classic. Event.php. Protected fillable equals, do we need the user ID? I'm not sure. We definitely need type. Let's see if we also need user ID. Ah, I see what it is. So if you look at our query, user ID is not getting inserted here. So I actually do need user ID on my fillable. I think that would be why it is getting stripped. Yeah, let's try that. Yep, there we go. Okay, so now we are not seeing that error. In theory, in the controller, yes, we are actually creating it. So we should have some of these events in our database. So let's pull up the Tinker URL, user find one, and let's just do this, events or event all. Ooh. Okay, so there we go. I had a bit of a naming conflict with the built-in Laravel event, but that's okay. I just had to specify the full path here. So that's something I may change before I go to production, but for now we will press on. So when we run this query, you can see we do have 2 events in our database. They worked. There we go. All right. They're associated with this user. They are the type of paywall, and we have our timestamps. Great. That's really all I need for this analytic. I just need to know that it happened and which user it happened to, and that it was a paywall. So adding this type is just making it so down the line, if I want to add different types of events into buckets, now all I have to do is change the type and I'm good to go. So let's go back to our app for a second and click this button a couple more times, make sure we're getting more events. Now when we go look at Tinker again, run the query, there you go. Clicked it 3 more times, we got 3 more events. So at the end of these videos, I want to talk about what are a couple things I might change before I push this to production. So in this case, I'm looking at changing the name away from just event, since that does conflict a little bit with the built-in Laravel event. So I'll probably call it, I don't know, user event, something like that. So I'll make that change. Then the one other change that I think I'm going to make is to change the type. So instead of being a type of string, I'm going to change it to be an enum. The point of that is just so that throughout my app, wherever I'm adding one of these events, I don't have to remember what the string key is. I can just import the user event enum, user event type enum, I guess, is what I'll call it, and reference one of those. So it's just kind of a best practice, makes it a little bit cleaner, and then I'm not relying on me remembering key names or not having typos, just a little bit safer. That's it. We're done. We've got a brand new feature implemented in buckets in a real production Laravel application. And by the time you're watching this video, it's already going to be live in production. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was useful. I really wanted to just take you with me on how I think about building these new features and how I iterate and get my way through it. This was a small one for sure. I wanted to start small and just see how it went, see if I was able to get through a whole one of these in as little takes as possible. I'm pretty happy with how it went. If you enjoyed the video, definitely like and subscribe to the channel. I've got more videos in this series and also other Laravel videos coming soon. And if you really want to support the channel and go that extra mile, go to buckets.money. I'll leave a link down in the description. Check it out. Give it a try. If you've tried other budgeting apps and they just never seem to stick, then give Buckets a try. That's kind of why I built it. My wife and I had tried other apps and we just never found like a good rhythm with it. So we came up with our own method and used a spreadsheet for a long time. But spreadsheets kind of suck on mobile. So I built Buckets as a great way for us to interact with it. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.